Okay, so we've talked about our regular channels on the board. Now we're going to talk about different types of channels. So over here we have DCAs. DCAs let you group channels together. Let's say these 4 microphones right here are a specific thing. Let's say they're floor mics. I'm just going to name them all FL for the sake of time. Let's say these are 4 different floor mics. Instead of going, and we have a nice mix that we want, and they're too loud. Instead of going and pulling all of them down, we can pull all of them down with one fader by putting them in a DCA. So we want to work with this channel. Going back to this logic, we hit select because this is the channel we want to work with. We'll go change the name up here to floor mics, if I can type. And this screen allows us to put them in there. So we're going to put our 4 FL mics on there. Now these 4 mics are in a DCA. This DCA is at, it says 0 on here, but we don't say that it's at 0, we say it's at unity, which means it's not being attenuated up or down. So we have the mix we want, and let's say we want to pull them all down by 5 decibels. So instead of going, that's roughly 5, we're going to come over here and just pull this down to 5, and just pull down all 4 of them at once. This is extremely useful for when you have a large group of mics. Let's say we're doing a musical, I'm going to keep referring back to that, and we have a large song with 12 mics on stage, and we have a male and a female DCA. That allows me to say, the males are getting too loud, we're going to pull them down some. The females are getting too loud, we're going to pull them down some. Oh, now the background characters are singing too loud. Good thing I have a lead DCA, and I can pull the leads up. And it just allows more precise control over things, and it means you don't have to go looking for things. If you have more faders that fit on here, you don't have to jump down here and look for things. I know I had an orchestra, a live orchestra, and it had 12 pieces in it. So instead of having to jump down here and pull all of them down when the orchestra got too loud, I can just reach over here to my orchestra DCA and pull them down some. And that's DCAs. DCAs are fairly simple. Next over, we have the mains and the subs. General rule of practice, leave these at unity. Do not touch these. If you leave these at unity, go to the channel and then pull the channel down. Don't reach over here and grab them. Don't put mutes in or anything like that. This is a particular pet peeve of mine. It doesn't really matter because I'm not going to be here, but I know this is a general pet peeve among people who work with boards. Is when you walk in and these are muted and down, and the DCA there is muted, and the mains and subs are muted, and the mains and subs are pulled down, and everything's muted, and there's red lights everywhere. It's very, very, very inconvenient. So either mute it or pull it down in one place. If you're about to walk away, you can go bam and mute the floor mics and walk away, or you can just pull them down, or you can mute them and leave them up. Or if you know there's a risk something might happen, you can just mute the mains and subs and walk away. You don't have to go and mute every single thing and pull everything down. Don't feel the need to do that. So, other special types of faders we have the monitors. Now remember we talked about the monitors out there, about how they're numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. Or sorry, they're A, B, C, and D, and the letters, the numbers don't matter, I'm sorry. They are numbered A, B, C, and D in here in our new blank show. So that way you don't have to remember what I said out there. You can just know if you plug it into A, it doesn't matter if it's A1, A2, A3, or A4. It'll show up on A. Now, going back to the logic of you can press mix anywhere and change what's going somewhere, that's how we're going to put stuff in the monitors. So let's say, right now I'm mixing mains. So I am changing the volume of the floor mics in the mains right now. I come down here and I hit mix on the monitors. I'm now changing the volume of the floor mic in the monitors. When you mix somewhere, it'll say what it's mixing into, like it says aux down here. And if you look on the screen at the bottom left corner, it'll say what you're mixing. It says monitor bank A. This is extremely important because almost every single show, I or someone running the board ends up going to the monitors and making an adjustment and forgetting to hit mix again to throw it back to the mains, or forgetting to hit mix on the mains. So then you go and you start adjusting levels and you realize they're not changing. It's because you're not changing it to the mains, you're changing it to those monitors. So always make sure when running a show, you're mixing monitors. The same logic of, just show you the trick I did. If you
when you're mixing a show, always make sure you're mixing to the mains, right?
To the mains.
To the mains.
To the mains. If you hit reset and then you flick a channel, it'll flick it back to Unity. Just a cool little trick. The same logic applies to the subs. If I want to put something in the subs, I hit mix and I push it up. You don't push this fader, just click mix there and you just push it up. And that'll give you more volume in the subs, which will give you more lows. This is especially useful in like auxes, like when you're putting, let's say, a Q in there and you have a thunder Q. You don't want your thunder Q to just be crash. You don't want it to be just the highs and the mids. You want nice rumbling lows in there. So you mix the aux in there and now you have your lows.
One question. Earlier you were talking about when you were on the monitor bank and you mix this in. Explain again why this says aux at the bottom here. It's hard for me to get a picture of that with the video, but why is that saying aux there?
Sure, because the monitors are an auxiliary send.
Okay.
And that's just how they're set up.
So it's just letting you know you're mixing an auxiliary send.
Yeah, you're not mixing the mains.
Understood.
Over here,
Cool.
the subs are also an aux.
Okay, cool.
So when you hit subs, you'll see subs over there and it'll say aux under there. When we come over a little bit, we have matrices. We'll get into those in just a second. That is a more advanced concept. Down here we have our effects banks. We have 8 effects on the board right now. You can have up to 16. And they work exactly the same. If I want to put the floor mics in there, I hit mix and I pull them up. We'll have a video covering effects on their own because they are sort of gimmicky. They're not critical to running this board. And then down here we have the effects returns, which are just where they come back in. Again, not important right now. But the main thing to get from all of this, the previous video is the faders and how you do things on the faders. And then from this video, the big thing is DCAs. Next, we're going to talk about customizing the board, about how we put a DCA over here and things where they're not right now, because this board is 100% customizable. Thank you.